Okay, we got done seeing Tyler Perry, A Medea's Family Funeral. We actually did a review on this a couple days ago, but the review screwed up, so we're going to redo it right now.
Yeah.
Movie's comedy. This is the first Madea movie I've ever seen. What about you, Jenny?
I think I saw part of one when I was waiting in a doctor's office a couple years ago, but I don't know which one it was.
Yeah.
We looked it up later, and it turns out there are like, how many of these?
There's like 13 or 14. There's a shit ton of them.
At least I knew there was a lot, but I wasn't sure how many it was.
And Perry's made a damn empire for himself because he's made a lot of these. They don't cost much to
like
make, and they make a shit ton of money for they got a good profit margin, and this one is doing well at the box office. What's the deal with this thing? I'll tell you what, this movie's a hidden gem. This is like Shakespearean level. You know, it's like a Shakespearean play. It's got everything. It's got comedy. It's got tragedy. It's fucking zany. It kind of reminds me of one of the older Eddie Murphy type movies that you'd find from the 80s or the 90s.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, but more up to date. Acting in it was good.
Yeah.
They had it was a family drama. That was the main story, and then wrapped around it, is basically a bunch of comedy skits. Or do you think the drama is wrapped around the comedy skits?
It's kind of hard to say because I feel like, I mean, the whole point of the Tyler Perry movies, I think, is is them being comedies and him playing those characters.
Yeah.
But he feels like, well, we have to have some of everything, so we're gonna put like this drama. There was actually quite a serious like family drama in there, on top of all the stuff about dead people having boners and
it's just hilarious, man.
It is very funny. It's really super raunchy, lowbrow, dark humor because it's all about a funeral, it's all about death and stuff like that. So all the shit they say about the one guy that doesn't have legs and just now shit that happened and died, and the way the guy died is funny. And
now the critics hate these movies. I mean, I saw comments like, "Oh man, this is setting black people back 30 years." And man, that's all fucking bullshit. It's the young people in the stories are all kind of like yuppies. They're kind of like a new wave of successful African Americans. The older people in the movies are from another generation, and the humor and everything.
And they were all back in the day. They were all
pimps and hoes,
drug dealers.
Yeah, but that's just part of the.
That's funny to me,
and I can
see why.
There's a culture clash between the generations.
Right. Yeah, and like I said, it's kind of like, and I think the other movies are kind of a similar thing where. Where you expect old people to be out of touch and all this other stuff, but they've kind of flipped it on its head.
Yeah. Because they're calling the young people all bougie. You guys are all bougie. It's just funny, It
is very, and all the younger people appalled at all the shit they say and stuff like that, which is, I don't know. I thought it was very funny. Like I said, it's kind of weird because it's not as. I don't want to say it's not a straight comedy because it is, but there's a lot of long scenes of serious. Family drama,
some out of Empire,
right? Where where some bad shit goes down, and they're having really intense discussions about it and stuff like that. So it's a little bit. So know that going in, it's I was gonna say I thought it might be kind of a tonal whiplash, but I think it works. It does hang together, and the serious scenes don't go on, so it's it goes on, and you're oh shit, and then Madea and her people come in and start making dirty jokes and shit
the target audience is working class. This is very much kind of they're not trying to be ultra sophisticated. It's just supposed to be funny, and it achieves that.
I did. I was laughing.
Man, I just fucking laughed my ass off over some of the shit, and it's totally inappropriate. But that's why it's so fucking funny.
Well, that's
why
everybody in the theater was
the whole theater was laughing.
And it was and we saw it in the middle of the day. It was a Monday or something, but it was actually quite a few people in there, and they were all laughing their ass off too. So. And it's making a lot of money, so obviously other people thought it was funny too. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, this is the first one I've ever seen, and some people are saying this is one of the weakest entries in the entire series, but I didn't know any better.
Well, the thing is,
this is the first one that I saw.
Like I said, I'd heard of them, I'd seen them around. I just never sat down and watched one. Like I said, the only time I'd ever seen one, I was in a doctor's office and it was on the TV, and I had kind of just kept glancing up at it and that was kind of stupid. But then when I saw one, it is stupid, but it's funny stupid.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Yeah. Now I'm interested in seeing other ones.
Yeah, now he wants to see all the others. He liked it so much that he wants to
I'd buy them all if they came out in a big set.
You hear that, Tyler Perry? You got a customer right here. He'll buy all your movies.
I'd buy all of them in a set.
On Blu-ray, if you put them all out on one.
It's kind of shit you'd want to see, when you're up in your bedroom and you, hey, how you doing? But you bet you're drinking and you got the smart TV on, and you're just drunk, laughing at this shit.
Night.
Yeah.
Last night it was Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Drinking, watching Army of
Yeah.
Darkness, and Gremlins 2.
You don't think about it. You don't think much about it. You just relax and you just watch a movie and you have a good time. You laugh your ass off.
Yeah.
Somebody who's being a clown and entertaining you.
Yeah.
And that's the meaning of these movies.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
And
Just chill and
yeah.
just go with the flow.
Don't
go.
listen to the critics. Just go there and fucking have fun.
No one does.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's go. All right, we just got done seeing one called Arctic, which was starred the guy who was the bad guy from Casino Royale. What's his name?
Mads Mikkelsen.
Mads Mikkelsen, yeah. And called this like a survival movie.
Yes, man
Yeah,
versus nature.
man versus nature. About
Otherwise known as Nature Sucks, and don't
Yeah.
get caught out in it because it hates you.
about this guy who survived a little one-man plane crash.
Well, it was two man. I think one.
Two man,
I
but
think
he
his-
died,
I think
yeah.
his co-pilot died. before the
Co-pilot died, and he survived this plane crash out in the Arctic, and he was trying to make it out there on his own. He had a transponder, he had some equipment, but they weren't finding him. Well, eventually another helicopter came by, and while they was trying to rescue him, the helicopter wrecked, killing
In a blizzard.
yeah, killing a pilot, and the co-pilot was a female. She lived, but she never really regained consciousness. And he tried to nurse her back to health, but fuck it, he realized that they weren't gonna find him. So he packs up and tries to walk her to a rescue, to where there was this seasonal camp.
Yeah, because there was a map in the
Yeah.
helicopter that crashed. He didn't have a map before. He had been
Yeah.
making one.
But by looking at the map, it looked like it was about 20 clicks away over rough terrain, and
It was far.
yeah, and it gets worse as it goes.
Yeah, and it's like I said, this is like why you don't want to get stranded out in the Arctic, because
Yeah.
every terrible thing that can happen, that shit's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Of course, the acting's phenomenal.
He was great in that. I
Yeah.
mean, he's pretty much the only
He's
person
the only one in the movie. He
I
doesn't
mean,
really say much in the movie. There's very little dialogue, and some of the dialogue's in, I guess it's Norwegian.
Yeah, I think he's Norwegian.
Yeah, but it doesn't really matter. He's just trying to survive. Yeah, good movie. Kind of a downer. I wouldn't say it's a downer. It's a rough to watch. It feels like it's been beating you up. You get towards the
Yeah,
end.
and I mean, I really love, like I said, Mads Mikkelsen is great. I was gonna say, like, the alternate title of this should be Mads Mikkelsen is one determined motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
Movie.
It's superhuman fucking will to survive and stuff, and he gets injured a lot. And he's
So
nasty.
you're like rooting for him the whole time. It's like it's really hard to watch it just because
Yeah.
of all the horrible shit. And then he opens up the little map and you see how much
Yeah.
farther they still have to go, and you're like,
Yeah.
just looking at it, there's like nothing, and it's just like fucking oh fuck man,
Yeah.
oh fuck, and then like this bad thing happens and that bad thing happens. I'm like, what if I would just curl up and go fuck
Yeah.
this, fuck nature. I don't
Yeah,
like it.
it was a good movie. It wasn't a really enjoyable movie experience for me. You know what I mean? It was not a feel-good movie.
Well, no.
But that movie made its point. It did what it tried to do,
Yeah, definitely.
which was put you through the ringer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it definitely did. Just the whole time we were like, oh.
If you like man versus nature and survival movies, this is a good one though.
Oh yeah, really, really good.
Yeah.
And like I said, Mads Mikkelsen is great in this.
Yeah.
And he's pretty much the only person in it.
Yeah, like man alone against fucking insurmountable
against
odds.
just-
And
yeah.
just everything's dicking him over. Just the universe
Right.
fucking him over. You know.
Right.
Every
I know,
time
like
you
a
think-
couple times that's what was great about it. Is that he didn't have to say anything. You could
Yeah.
tell by his face he was just like, really,
Yeah.
God, fuck you.
Yeah. Well, every time it seems like he takes a step forward, he takes a couple steps back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really liked it. Like I said, it's a harrowing movie. It's
Yeah.
not fun. It's
No,
not like
not
fun
really.
to sit through or anything. It's very harrowing.
But I respected it.
But I thought it was like a really good.
Yeah, I respect the movie.
Really, really good flick. Yeah.
Yeah. All right then. Okay, we just got done seeing Apollo 11, which was, I guess you could call it a documentary about,
Yeah.
of course,
IMAX documentary.
this thing was fucking badass. Everything that First Man wasn't for me, this was. I felt like I went to the moon. I'm fucking part of the space mission now. They take you back to 1969. Everything is the source footage or source material for the mission in 69. I was like 20 days old when this is going on. There's no real narrators. There's no actors or anything like that. It's just they tell you a narrative based upon Walter Cronkite doing news stuff and footage from the mission and mission control.
And them talking to the astronauts.
Damn.
And talking to each other. And I have
It's
to say,
exciting.
Well, I have to say, like, one, this is edited incredibly.
The edits are fucking the shit, man.
Two, even though, like, most of the footage, you know, all of the footage is from the time, and some of it looks beautiful. It looks, like, really incredible. I'm sure some of it's been restored and
it's got a powerful industrial soundtrack, like bum 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 bum, heavy fucking drums and shit during the exciting parts. It's almost kind of like sounded like it might have been the same guy who did the music to Fury Road.
Yeah, I'd have to look
Mad
it up.
Max.
It
It's
sound kind of similar.
This thing is intense, and
It's
the
just-
edit, man, just when it starts, they're rolling the damn rocket out.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing because it covers kind of the whole, 8-9 day mission from, a
Launch
few
in.
hours before the launch when the
Yeah.
astronauts are, getting suited up and everything.
Traveling
And then
to the moon.
Traveling to the moon, traveling from the moon.
Being
and then
on the moon.
ends at splashdown.
Seeing
like
the
when they're,
moon. I mean, you hear Buzz Aldrin going, "There's the moon. There it is. It's big."
Well, they didn't know what it was going to look like when they
first
saw
time,
it.
there's the moon, and all of there it is.
Which is funny when you think about it because, I mean, I
You're
guess...
used to seeing the moon little, yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I guess now, like, because we've seen footage from the moon mission, because this is now, I mean, I guess there's all this Apollo 11 stuff is coming out because it's the 50th anniversary this year, obviously, of them landing on the moon. So, but we've seen, this footage, or bits of this footage, like, so much that it almost becomes... you don't really pay attention to it anymore until you see it edited this way and you see it in IMAX and you see it on this massive screen.
When you see it in this context with that soundtrack, and they take through the whole thing, them going through quarantine, them going through all the ticker tape parades, it's just a badass experience. You feel like you saw the whole and all the boring stuff of the mission, like just waiting to get there, all that's cut out.
Yeah, because I mean, obviously when they got the they landed the Eagle on the moon, and then Michael Collins had to go around the moon a whole bunch of times. I was like, that poor guy.
No, but
I came to all this way and I didn't get to sit on the moon. That's
I loved it. Everything that First Man wasn't, this was.
Well, like I said, I think First Man
kind of
First Man was more. I liked First Man a lot,
liked
but it wasn't really. I mean, it was more of a biopic, really. Whereas
this is about the mission, though.
Whereas this is about the mission, and it just
it's a lot more exciting.
And it was actually, it's funny because I was thinking this when we were watching it. I said, even though I mean, everybody knows that it went totally fine. They had no problems. They got to the moon. They walked around the moon.
Yeah, you don't feel that way.
But you don't feel that when you're watching it because you're like when they do like the little ticker, like how they're getting fast, the velocity, and like that they're coming.
The warning lights
you're like,
and shit.
Oh my god, this is
running out of fuel.
You know it's gonna be okay, but it's like it's just funny the way. So
the way it's edited.
Editing and score can do a lot for that. It's like so.
And there's lots and lots of split screen shots.
Yeah.
Where you see one shot of say like it's the Eagle or the Eagle coming down, and then all the guys back in mission control, going ready, checking. It shows all of them, each individual guy, and it's got their names. It's just badass. It's just a badass movie. I mean, I want to own this one.
I mean, the thing about it is and I think the best documentaries will even take a subject that you think you know a lot about or that you've seen over and over again, you're like, meh, whatever, but will make you see it in a new light. And I think this was like hugely successful.
I'm not gonna call this a documentary. What this was is somebody took original footage and edited it into an action movie.
It is kind of like
an action adventure movie with a badass soundtrack, and it was all real stuff.
Yeah, it was all
real stuff.
Do you know what I thought was really cool? Like, it was a lot of the little human stuff, like all the people that had gathered at Kennedy Space Center to watch the launch. Yeah. Because, I mean, I was born in 1972, so this was like a couple years before.
Yeah.
But I remember when I was a kid, when I was 9 years old, they did the first space shuttle launch.
Yeah.
And I only grew up about 40 miles north of Cocoa Beach.
Yeah, they launched that just not
far
from
we would go home. So we would
Yeah.
drive down all the time when I was a kid and see all the. So I saw the first space shuttle launch, like from Kennedy Space Center, and And that kind of brought like back a memory for me because I remember like waiting there because it got delayed and we were like sleeping on the side of the road and like all this other kind of shit, like wait for it to go up. So it was like, it was funny to see all these people in 1969 like waiting there in their cars, sleeping in their cars and wearing silly hats and shit like that, like waiting for it to launch.
You know, it was just awesome. It gave you the feeling that you went to the moon and that you saw the whole thing. You know, it's very much kind of like something from 2001, but industrial. You know what I mean? Open the pod bay doors, please, Hal. I mean, all that shit's going through the whole thing, you know. And the little readouts, and then things are. You just got to see it.
I'm actually going to get this because I think it's only a limited engagement, and I think it's only like a week. So this is.
And I actually didn't want to see this movie.
I know he was. Whining.
I was like, I don't want to see this.
He was whining.
And then as soon as it started, I was like, oh, wait a minute. It's not just a documentary.
Well, this is the whole
this
time
is
I
a
was
damn
watching
action
it.
adventure
The whole
movie.
time I was watching, I was just like, oh,
yeah,
the whole time. And then remember, we were laughing because they had like when they were launching, like they had the surgeon would say like what all their heart rates were because they were monitoring the heart rates.
Yeah.
And then John Glenn's was always the highest. And like Michael Collins was like 88, and I'm just like, he's the cool one.
No, that wasn't Michael Collins. That was Armstrong.
No, Armstrong's was high.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. And then.
When
they said when they were landing the Eagle on the moon,
their heart rates were high.
Neil Armstrong's went up to like 156, and I'm like, I don't blame the dude.
Well, he had to.
Yeah, he's like.
Well, they show the footage when he's looking outside the window. He was afraid of landing in that crater.
In the crater, yeah.
He had to go around. He had to. There was an auto landing thing going, and the auto lander was going to put him in the crater, and he moved it around.
And they only had so much fuel.
Yeah, you could see the fuel light was.
Yeah, because there was
blinking.
a little ticker over here that was showing like their altitude and how much fuel they had left to land.
And what was cool about the edit is that the edit is very fast, but they also left in the astronauts and people at Mission Control goofing around.
Yeah,
saying funny shit.
Because like I said, it's
like I'll let you know if I stop breathing.
Yeah,
that was what I think.
Like it humanized them.
Yeah.
You know? And like I said, even though some of this footage is like pretty familiar because it's kind of part of the pop culture, but a lot of it wasn't. Like I hadn't seen a lot of it before.
Yeah, one of the little electrodes from the small of his Buzz Aldrin, I think, with his back came off.
Yeah.
And they lost the ability to monitor his breathing, and they told him to put it back on, and he goes, "I'll let you know if I stop breathing." Yeah, but this is definitely, you got to see this one. This one is an experience.